My name is Martha Kirby. I am from New York. I'm the Client Services Director at Thought Matter, which is a brand design and strategy studio. So at Thought Matter, our Chief Executive, Tom Jaffe, sat us down after the election to give us a pep talk. And after that, the word of the Women's March started to come out in DC and the sister marches. And we felt that we had a responsibility as designers and communicators professionally to get involved and help to amplify the voices of the women and men who would be marching on Washington and in the sister marches. We decided to design a set of posters, so we have 10 posters, and we raised money on Kickstarter to have them printed and shipped to the sister marches around the country. We started designing them around mid-December, and we were working fast and furious because we wanted to get the Kickstarter up. We launched the Kickstarter December 21st, and it ended January 14th, and then we packed and shipped them all. So we got it all done in about a month. I will be marching because I believe that the rights of humans, not just women, are at risk under a Trump administration. I think that's the platform he ran on, and I think that he intends to see it through, to see women's rights stripped, to see Roe v. Wade reversed, to have a list for Muslims to register. I march because I need to have a voice in the matter. When the election results came in, I was alone in my apartment trying to go to sleep and pretend it wasn't happening. I kept refreshing on my iPhone the results as they were coming in and thought, this couldn't be happening, this couldn't be happening. Went to sleep, woke up, Trump was the president-elect, called my friend and coworker, Jessie, met her at a coffee shop near my apartment, and we cried together before we had to get on the subway to go into work. Once we decided to print 15,000 posters, we had to find cities that would be able to take the donation and distribute them to marchers. So I went on Facebook and looked for the Facebook events in each city, just typing in Women's March on Chicago, Austin, Philadelphia, finding the organizers of the marches through Facebook and direct messaging them through my personal Facebook and telling them what we were doing, sending them the Kickstarter link, and asking if they had the capacity to take 1,000 posters and distribute them. What I hope the impact of the Women's March on the future is that Congress hears that there's an overwhelming number of people who are not okay with the administration, with their policies. I think it's important that people also remember that they have mothers, daughters, sisters, wives, that it's everyone's issue. It's not just women's issues. It's people of color. It's all religions. It's everybody's issue. And what I hope is that our voice is just loud enough that it can't be ignored. What I also hope is that it endures beyond January 21st, and that this isn't the beginning of a movement that's going to fizzle out because there's no more physical actions of bringing hundreds of thousands of people together. I hope that this remains something that can live on through policy and attract the right people to make the right decisions. That's not the most eloquent way to say it, but I don't know if nonprofit's the right direction, but to have an organization that is respected as one that is lobbying for the rights of the underserved. I don't know if that's possible currently. I don't know how marches end up, but it seems like a good place to start. I think that this movement is part of a bigger movement. I think that this march happens to be focused on women's rights. I think that there should be marches focused on Black Lives Matter. I think there should be marches focused on immigrants' rights. I think that it's our responsibility for them to all come together and be that loud voice. I think some people there are some things that are more important to some people than others, but I don't think that that's a reason to neglect that everyone's fighting for something, and ultimately we are fighting for the same thing. And that is to just have equality, for everyone to be treated fairly and equally across race, across religion, across gender, across sexual orientation. I think that's where the Women's March fits in, that this is the beginning or the middle of I'm not going to say revolution. I think that this is part of a larger movement toward equality across the board. What gives me hope is that in a short amount of time, hundreds of thousands of people have come together for a common goal. And if we can do that on January 21st, I think we can continue to do that until we start to influence people and show them the positive outcome of coming together with a common goal in mind, and starting to shift perception, starting to teach people about empathy and equality and why in the long run that's better for everybody. That's what gives me hope.